Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Midcard Mess podcast. I am your host, not one, not two, but all three faces of Jamal, and this is your wrestling news. I have a lot to get into today, from everything from Ring of Honor's Honor Club episode to TNA Impact. We know that's going to be the big one. Saree had a big match with Meiko Satomura and Sareeism. And then they also had a independent wrestling open grand finale. So like I have a lot to get into. Obviously, I'm gonna be talking about TNA first, and then working my way down to the lesser known. But that doesn't mean that you won't see these guys sometime in the future, or maybe like somewhere in your local indies or whatever have you not. So, but with that being said, let's get on to it with the January 23rd episode of TNA Impact. So the show starts off to Joe Hendry coming out. He came out, he talked about how he would defend his title against anyone, anywhere, anytime, and relayed that message to Santino Marella, who is the TNA Director of Authority, for those that don't know about Santino Marella. You know what I'm saying? So when he appeared on the ramp, then he said someone has already accepted his offer, and tonight it's going to be the main event. So when it came time to reveal that person, it ended up being the complete Matt Cardona. So Matt Cardona and Joe Hendry for the TNA Heavyweight Championship in the main event of tonight's Impact. So there's that. Steve Maclin confronted Eric Young about trying to save Josh Alexander, when Maclin was telling Young that Alexander wasn't worth saving, and Josh Alexander appeared to both of them and said there was no excuses, but he thanked them for the years and shook hands with Young, but Maclin didn't shake his hand and said, fuck all that bullshit. I saw what you did with the fucking Northern Armory, and fuck you, basically. It's not, there's no love lost there. Obviously Eric Young and Josh Alexander are both Canadian, so that's why, the camaraderie there. So, that's why it's something Steve Maclin is not going to be able to understand. I mean, not that he won't understand, because he's a Marine just like I am, and everybody knows that every Marine, they get together and, we have a good camaraderie. So this, from that aspect, I understand where Eric Young is coming from. Whether you loved him or hated him, Josh Alexander was a good wrestler for TNA and everything like that. So this could be just a fucking work, basically, but I don't know. This really looked like really based off of reality. I think this man is actually leaving the company, but don't take my word for it, because anything can happen in pro wrestling, and this. So all right, the first match on the docket ended up being Rosemary and the House of Elegance, which is Ash and Heather by Elegance, versus Masha Slamovich and Spitfire, which is Jody Threat and Danny Luna. This match was coming off the back of Genesis, and Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance, they they suck, they trash, they're dookie. I don't know what to tell you. Not individually, but together, it's just it's giving a weak version of the Beautiful People, Velvet Sky and Angelina Love. It's giving a way weaker version of that. It's giving a C plus version of what Tony Storm was doing a year ago type stuff. So I'm really not jacking any of the things that the House of Elegance has going for it. And it was kind of interesting to see that Rosemary, who just had her match against Masha Slamovich for the TNA Women's Knockouts Championship, that dynamic was kind of interesting to see. But at the end of the day, it means nothing, because Cora Jade appeared and gave a folder of a picture of Masha with the X across her face, which is basically what Masha Slamovich does to other people. So, for Cora Jade to do that to Masha, the distraction allowed Ash to get Luna to push Masha out the way and then hit a fucking roll up for the victory. So Rosemary and the House of Elegance defeats Masha Slamovich and Spitfire due to the interference of Cora Jade. And then Cora Jade walks off like, yeah, I got your number type stuff. So the next thing that we have is the Northern Armory came to the ring and cut a promo where Alexander said that he regretted the man he became over the past few months and it's time to step aside. Icarus and Williams, Judas Icarus and Travis Williams were very frustrated by the situation, and Icarus said that Alexander couldn't leave, but it was a trap because Williams hit a chop block on Alexander and then followed by Icarus hitting him with a Superman punch. Eric Young then came down for the save, but Alexander challenged to Icarus in a tag match next week. So as I mentioned, the work that I was talking about, there you have it. Like, this nigga is not leaving, perhaps. So like, this might be a build up to, oh, this is my last match type stuff. So I don't know. Josh Alexander's pretty old and pretty good. I mean, like, if we talk about one of the greater champions in TNA, I look at Josh Alexander because him and Ethan Page, who's now on NXT, were representing the North. Imagine if Ethan Page and Josh Alexander got back together again, ran amok in NXT as a tag team, like, especially with this partnership, that'd be fucking sick. But, it is what it is. Like, all right, so the next match on the docket would have been the Hardy Boys, the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys, versus the System, which is Moose and JDC, who is Fandango for all you WWE people out there, with Alicia Edwards on the corner. At the end of the day, the Hardys did what they do. Swanton bomb from the top, like, they had a match, and it was basically a Hardy Boys match, and Hardys ended up winning the match. Jeff Hardy hitting the Swanton on Moose. Yeah, that's the gist of that. A vignette happened for the number 23, and Sami Callihan appeared in the ring and was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I'm tired of this fucking 23 bullshit. Who the fuck is doing this 23? Then Steph Delander appeared, and then she came down with the Digital Media Championship, and she, like, was talking about, oh, I'm not with PCO anymore, and fucking me and PCO got a divorce, and I got a fucking the Digital Media Championship, and I have a new man, and this, that, and the third. So the new man that she was talking about was Mance Warner. So for those that's not familiar with Mance Warner, he was in MLW and a few GCW and a whole bunch of other New York Indies type stuff. So like, he's basically I don't want to say a younger Sami Callihan, but he's basically what Moxley is doing, but this is TNA, so like, that's what I attribute to that. But it was good seeing him on television. It's good seeing him get a deal. He hit Callihan with the lariat after smashing the title in Callahan's face, and Delander and Warner kissing in the middle of the ring. So there's that. Now we have the semi-main event, which is gonna be Fraxium versus the Rascals, and all I'm gonna say is that this match was bonkers. This was probably my match of the week if anything on SmackDown doesn't freaking take hold or take shape. But this was definitely my match of the week. Fucking Fraxium and the Rascals put on a banger. But at the end of the day, Wesley with Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, they decided to take out freaking Zachary Wentz, and then freaking cost the Rascals the tag team championships for NXT. So, I mean, like, it makes sense because DuPont and Igwe freaking want the tag team championships for themselves, and Wesley being aligned with them, like, that kind of helps them out. And then also it's giving DuPont and Igwe opportunity to get more reps in, I should say. So it'll be good to see them wrestle on TNA and wrestle some of the TNA guys as well as the NXT guys. I'm really enjoying this partnership with TNA and NXT, or WWE as a whole. So, that's good. Mike Santana then appeared in the ring for a promo where he first asked the San Antonio crowd where the Latinos at. Yeah, aquí compadre. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Santana was here to climb the mountain, said that he was here to become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion in 2025. So Mustafa Ali then music hits, and everyone is shocked. Everybody's like kind of happy. Everybody's like kind of like, you know, oh shit, Mustafa Ali. Ali. You gotta say his name correctly. You gotta put respect on this man's name. This guy is a former X Division champion, former Cruiserweight champion, former everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, gotta put respect on his name. But he came during Santana's promo, cut his ass off, and then made the announcement that he has signed a deal with TNA and that there was work to be done, and that he had his eyes on the TNA World Championship. So the TNA World title picture is looking crazy right now. With Joe Hendry being the champion, he already got Mike Santana, Mustafa Ali. He does have Moose in his wings, and then also like he wants to face some WWE guys such as John Cena. Like, you know, that'd be crazy if John Cena could face Joe Hendry one time for the one time. But as you know, John Cena doesn't just want to take spots from people or whatever. So we'll see how that turns out. And if John Cena ends up on the Impact Zone, my nigga, if John Cena ends up on the motherfucking Impact Zone, bro, the internet is gonna break, bro. I'm telling you, the internet will definitely break. It'll be like the first time that AJ Styles and John Cena fucking first touch. Like, you know, it'll be crazy. Following along, we go to Tessa Blanchard that appeared on the ramp, and she was fucking being hit with boos. I'm talking crazy boos. I'm talking the boos that Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade were getting on NXT. I'm talking Hulk Hogan boos. They were booing the shit out of fucking Tessa Blanchard. But to Tessa Blanchard's credit, she appeared unfazed. Unfucking phased, and Blanchard responded to the crowd's retaliation, saying that the city was known for losing to the Alamo before she would make sure that no one would hear Tessa was not great. But like at the end of the day, she already took out the trash, and she would answer to no one, and she is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So with Masha Slamovich being the Knockouts champion, and with Tessa Blanchard also being a former world champion herself, who says that she might not go after Joe Hendry for the TNA Heavyweight Championship? I don't know, but it is what it is. Frankie Kazarian comes out, and he was part of the broadcast team for this particular match, and it was Joe Hendry versus the complete Matt Cardona. And Cardona, you know, he's good at what he does, and he's always been ready, always been you know, even when he was Zack Ryder, he's just very good at what he does. But in the end, Joe Hendry wins his first title defense with the standing ovation, defeats Matt Cardona. Cardona tried to attack Joe Hendry with the world title, but JBL came out and hit Matt Cardona with the clothesline from hell, and then freaking had a brief stare down with Joe Hendry after the attack. So, you know, what is JBL's deal? This is his like third or fourth time showing up to TNA, interrupting matches. I don't know what the fuck, like, you know, what is his deal? He's been showing up everywhere. He did it with Dolph Ziggler. He did it with fucking Joe Hendry. Like, I don't know what is JBL's deal, but you know, it's gonna be hard to find out unless we hear from the man himself. So, you know, that's going to be a mystery. Like I said, like, you know, TNA's partnership with WWE is getting heavy and getting strong. We did see JBL on Raw on Netflix last Monday talking to fucking the New Day with that fucking little $2 that they fucking tried to give, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that was TNA Impact on the 23rd yesterday. As I aforementioned, I will be talking about Ring of Honor next, so if you do not want to hear about anything like indie or nothing like that, you can cut it off right here for me, and then I will see you guys next week with the TNA Impact, and obviously, you know, Friday Night SmackDown's coming up tonight, so be on the lookout for that. Alright, so moving along into Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor had a couple matches that would like to bring to your attention. The television championship match with Commander, who is the champion, versus QT Marshall, and Katsuri Shibata versus Shane Taylor. That was going to be a good one. You know, Mark Briscoe came out and cut a promo congratulating Ring of Honor on 100 episodes in the new era and hope for 100 more. Basically, like, this is the new iteration, the AEW version of Ring of Honor. So it is kind of a big deal. As long as AEW exists, Ring of Honor is going to exist. I remember when the original iteration of Ring of Honor closed its doors in like 2019 or something like that. I was really sad and, perplexed. And, I really wanted to, I wanted Ring of Honor back. That was like Jonathan Gresham was the champion at the time. Jay Lethal was the emerging legend. The Briscoes were still doing the damn thing. That was back when Jay Briscoe was alive and stuff. So, the Ring of Honor is always great, and honor is still real here. So, it's glad to see that AEW is keeping up with all the people that doesn't get to show up on Dynamite or Collision. They have a place to wrestle here in Ring of Honor. So, I mean, for crying out loud, Dustin Rhodes is a 6-man and a Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion at the same time. Him and Sammy Guevara, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Like, for crying out loud. What's her name? Red Velvet. She's the women's television champion herself. So, all right, let's get down to Ring of Honor. Television championship match. Commander versus QT Marshall. We all know QT Marshall was gonna fucking lose this match. Let's be honest. QT Marshall is not him. He thinks he's Matt Cardona. He thinks he's Cody. He thinks he's all these things. He's not. He's just not. Let's call a spade a spade. He's not. He's not that guy. You are not that guy, QT Marshall. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck what you say. You are not that guy. After the match, Lee Johnson appeared on the ramp after the match, and then he's like called this shot at the Ring of Honor World Television Champion. So, big shotty Lee Johnson is going to go against Commander sometime in the future. I would like to see that match. It's going to be a high-flying affair. This television championship, it's normally like the BMF tag team, the BMF title of Ring of Honor, but like, it's now turned into de facto like Cruiserweight Championship or Lucha Championship type deal, but it's okay. But, it's one of the important titles in Ring of Honor. Layla Gray versus Marty Bell. It was good to see Marty Bell's fine ass all over freaking Ring of Honor television. The Dominicana fucking going crazy. But Layla Gray ended up defeating Marty Bell with the Dragon Sleeper and won her match. The Outrunners, which is Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum, defeated John Cruz and Rosario Grillo on and they beat him with the Total Recall. So, that tag team move that they do is really good. The Outrunners are living in the 80s. For those that don't know, the Outrunners are really living in the 80s, man. Talking about some Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum, and they're doing like the whole Hulk and Savage thing, and it's really good to see. The Forever Ring of Honor Women's World Champion cuts a promo to celebrate 100 episodes, where she said that she would return very soon, and that is going to be hopefully when she returns, then it's going to be like a match or setting up a new rivalry with someone. I don't know who's going to take the title off of Athena, but Athena's doing Roman Reigns numbers right now, and nobody's fucking respecting it, and I don't understand why. The Beast Mortals was in action as he fucking destroyed this nigga Lord Crew, and he just destroyed him. Like, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Ring of Honor does this thing where they do a throwback match. They get a match from like way back in Ring of Honor's past, and the match that they showed was the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match with Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal versus Blood Generation, which was Shigo Takagi and Shima. That was like a little throwback match. Lexi Nair then interviewed Layla Gray, where she said she would continue momentum and more gold before declaring that she's going to go be inside of the Ring of Honor Women's World Television title before issuing a challenge to Red Velvet next week. So Red Velvet's gonna get another competitor, and with the impressive win that she had against Marty Bell earlier in the night, I'm pretty interested to see Layla Gray versus Red Velvet. So Vendetta, who happens to be Taya Valkyrie and Deonna Purrazzo, defeated Lady Frost. So Taya Valkyrie versus Lady Frost 1-on-1. It was a hard hitting match. You know what I'm saying? Like Lady Frost and freaking Taya Valkyrie are two big white chicks that freaking handled their business in the ring. So, you know, it was good to see. But, you know, Taya Valkyrie and Deonna Purrazzo picking up more momentum in Ring of Honor. So that's really nice to see. And also them being AEW's, you know, underneath AEW contracting. It's also like, you know, a thing. Jack Jameson met with Griff Garrison and Cole Carter and Preston Vance, which he pitched forming a faction called the Fraternity. And Garrison, Carter, and Vance discussed it, and they told Jameson that they would think about it. So, I don't know what the fuck is going on with these, like, pick-me fucking factions, but, you know, Griff Garrison, Cole Carter, who was, like, with Julia Hart before Julia Hart went to the House of Black or whatever iteration that they're going to be called now. Preston Vance was in fucking La Facción Ingobernables, and I don't know what the fuck happened with that shit. And I don't know why Preston Vance can't get over, and like, you know, he just can't get over. He's got to be in a fucking group every fucking time. Like, I don't understand. He has all the tools, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know really Jack Jameson, but like, you know, seeing him and stuff like that, like, you know, this is just another thing, the Fraternity. Like, I'm really not jacking it, like, you know, but if they make it work, then they make it work. Bro, as long as it's not no Spirit Squad shit, or it's not some, oh, we're like the 4 horsemen of fucking Ring of Honor or some shit like that, then, you know, I'm all for it. Gates of Agony absolutely destroyed Teriyaki and fucking Joey Lucas. They just, this is a squash match, man. They just beat the fuck out these niggas. Double spine buster on Lucas for the victory. Ring of Honor champion Chris Jericho appeared and congratulated 100 episodes on the reboot. Like I said, like, you know, Chris Jericho, one of those wrestlers that I think that should pack it the fuck up and get the fuck up out of here. But at the same time, he's bringing eyes to Ring of Honor. I suppose he is Chris Jericho. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, the main event of Ring of Honor would have been Katsuyori Shibata versus Shane Taylor. And when I tell you this match was hard hitting, it was hard hitting. These dudes beat the hell out of each other. Shane Taylor's no small ass dude. He's a big fucking black dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Him and his STP Promotions was out there, and Shibata was basically by himself. But in the end, Shibata hit the penalty kick and defeated Shane Taylor Promotions by himself. After the match, you know, Shane Taylor Promotions attacked Shibata, and then Taylor hits the knee strike, but then freaking Daniel Garcia and the Undisputed Kingdom, which ended up being Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, made the fucking save. After the interference, the Don Callis and the Konosuke Takeshita called out Shibata to a match at AEW Homecoming, and if Shibata versus you know, Takeshita doesn't fucking get that Homecoming, which is like next week, Wednesday, man, I don't know what to tell you, but Shibata versus Takeshita, man, that's why, you know, this is very important. So we just, it's a thing. Like, Ring of Honor is basically NXT for fucking AEW. So, you know, if you guys don't know that, then that's the reason why these are so important to cover, to get into, and all that stuff like that. All right, so in other wrestling news, we had Sareeism Chapter 4. You know, Saree, who used to be Saree in NXT, for those that didn't know, and she wrestled back in Stardom and stuff like that, and Mary Gold and all that good stuff. She has her own promotion, and she features a lot of Joshi wrestlers, and it was sold out in Shinjuku in Tokyo, Japan. So, like, you know, it was really nice. It was a little short for me because, like, you know, they only had five matches, but, you know, that's kind of all you need. They had 2 matches that featured legends like Karyu Ito and freaking Jaguar Yokota. So, like, you know, obviously they're not gonna fucking go bang for bang. So just giving you the results and the rundown before I talk about Meiko versus Saree. Uh, Victoria Yuzuki defeats Kane Miku. Jaguar Yokota, who I mentioned earlier, and Hanari Hana defeated Yukimo Hata and Misa Kuruga. Tamiki Iroha defeated Chi-Chi. Bozilla and Mio Manamono. I'm sorry, I'm butchering these names. Mio Manamono defeated Kari Ito and Yukira Oka, and then they had the main event match, which was Meiko Satomura versus Saree, and this match is like really hard hitting, to say the least. I mean, it's Meiko Satomura. Saree didn't really get an opportunity to show what she got in freaking NXT and stuff like that. So if you want to see some good old-fashioned Joshi wrestling, I recommend that you watch Meiko Satomura versus Saree. Meiko Satomura with the victory. You can probably catch it on YouTube because she has like the YouTube channel, the Saree channel, so you could probably catch that there. It's also on the X account, and if you want to watch the shows and any future shows that Sareeism has, you can go on SareeLive.com and try to purchase or look at all those shows and stuff like that. And in more wrestling news, you have the indie wrestling promotion, the Wrestling Open. They had the little tournament that was going down. You had a tournament that featured a lot of independent wrestlers and stuff like that. But the main event is what I want to talk about real quick. Ryan Clancy, TJ Crawford with Love Doug. And TJ Crawford gave his valiant effort. But at the end of the day, Ryan Clancy defended and defeated TJ Crawford to retain the Wrestle Open title match. You can catch these matches on Fight TV or the Internet Wrestling TV .com. It's basically the independent wrestling stuff like that. A lot of promotions that our friend of the show Clint Dye does is actually on Triller TV and also on the IWTV app, so you can go peep all those out. I'm talking like, Central Empire Wrestling and Madhouse Wrestling and all that other good stuff. So all right, that's gonna be it for me. Oh wait, before I leave, I almost forgot to talk about SmackDown. I mean, like, the road to WrestleMania is upon us. The road to the Royal Rumble is just 2 short weeks away. Like, how could I even think about ending the episode? But I was just thinking I'd just let it cook. So whatever. But we have a huge match on the docket. We got LA Knight, versus Tama Tonga in a 1-on-1 match in Austin, Texas tonight. And then we also have the Motor City Machine Guns versus Pretty Deadly. And Motor City Machine Guns earned the right to face the tag team champions in DIY, but Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin will be in action against Elton Prince and Kit Wilson. Yes, boy! We'll see them tonight. So, and Cody Rhodes is set to also show up. They have a contract signing to sign, and Shawn Michaels is going to be in the building. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, man. Like, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Midcard Mess podcast. I appreciate every one of you liking, sharing, subscribing, doing what you guys do. Without you, there's no me. And this is, if you haven't already, go join the Midcard Mess group page. It's one of the best damn wrestling group pages out there. If you could follow me on Instagram at 3 Faces of Jamal. If you could do the SoundCloud, you can even Google me. I'm on all types of different platforms and stuff like that. So I will see you guys on the next one with the SmackDown results tomorrow. So peace.